of the 4 Nigerians who were caught and jailed for mishandling a care resident in the care home. So obviously they were jailed and lots of people had so many things to say. Some people, most of our Nigerian counterparts, did not think there was anything wrong with what all 4 of them did. They were kind of like, slating the elderly woman who unfortunately passed away after that incident. So hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as That Mama 5 and also known as TMO5 Kanduko. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for always coming back. So I've decided to start a kind of like series, maybe not a series, but something I'm going to be incorporating into my channel. So which is like, obviously this is a following on from my previous video, which I'm going to pop in the cards, of the 4 Nigerians who were caught and jailed for mishandling a care resident in the care home. So obviously they were jailed and lots of people had so many things to say. Some people, most of our Nigerian counterparts, did not think there was anything wrong with what all 4 of them did. They were kind of like, slating the elderly woman who unfortunately passed away after that incident. So I've decided that I'm going to come up with series or some sort of videos, maybe once a week or every other week, telling you what you should not do as a care worker in the UK so you don't end up in the jail. So if you don't want your being jackpot to the UK lands you in the UK jail as a care worker in the UK, please do not do these things. So obviously these things I'm going to be sharing with you is going to apply to those of you, most importantly, who give care at home to residents. So when I'm talking about care at home, it means you are going to a service user. So I'm going to be calling patients, elderly people, I'm going to be calling them service user. So that way I'm not saying he, she. So service user. So this is going to apply to most of you Nigerians or Africans who are care workers in the UK, however, who go to give care at home to service users. And some of the things along the line will apply to those of you who are care workers in a care home. So without wasting much of your time, let's dive into the video. All right. Okay, so like I said, this video coming on was an aftermath of the video I shared last week. I'm going to pop the link there. So like I said, if you don't want to end up in the jail as a Nigerian care worker in the UK, please avoid doing any of these things. And also as a care worker, you might be in the UK, you might be in Scotland, you might be anywhere all over the world. As long as you give care to service users could be a young child as young as 6 months old. A service user could be as old as 110 years old. And as a service users are people who are vulnerable, who have some sort of disabilities or health conditions or lifelong illnesses, but who require some sort of assistance. So you as a care worker, you are being seen as a special and valuable individual who has come in to give a quality, compassionate care to these service users. So you are being regarded as a valuable person. Hence why I don't understand what actually went or was going on in the minds of those 4 Nigerians who abused, let's use that word, abused that service user in a care home. So in order for you not to end up in a jail just because you want to make quick money, and I'm going to put a disclaimer here. If you are someone who is still in Africa or in Nigeria and all of these things happen in the UK, or all the UK stories that UK people bring to you triggers you, maybe this video is not for you, so you can click out, because if you come back here and drop a crazy comment, I will bash you. So if UK people triggers you, click out of this video. But if you're already in the UK and you are a care worker, or you are a care worker who is coming from Nigeria, this video is going to be helpful to you. So I've got my note here and I'm going to be starting with number 1. So number 1 is this, that there are certain behaviors that is expected of you as a care worker. So I'm going to start with 1. You cannot smoke in a service user's home. So like I said in this video, that this is mostly got to do with people who give care in residence houses. That is, you go to their houses to give them care. So as a care worker, you cannot go to a service user's house and smoke. You can smoke as many sticks you want to smoke before you get to your service user, but please do not smoke in a service user's house. That's number one. Number two, you must not attend the service user's house intoxicated or smelling of alcohol or drinking on duty. That is a no, regardless of the fact that nobody's watching you giving care or providing care to that service user in their homes. You still want to be of good behavior. Don't go and drink shekwe before you come into work and then you are intoxicated. No. Number three, you cannot take another person to a service user's home. You cannot say, Lagbaja, meet me at another place that I normally go and give service user care. Go and wait for me there. No, you cannot do that, because that way you are breaching the privacy and the confidentiality of the patient. You must not do that. And if peradventure it has to be done, make sure that you speak to your manager, and there must be a very reasonable reason for why you're going to ask somebody to come wait for you. In fact, don't do it. Don't do it. The next thing is, you cannot go to a service user's home without the service user being there. So let's say, for example, you are like, because I'm passing through the street of my service user, let me go and say hello. No, you cannot. You cannot do that. If you're not on the rota to care for that service user that day, please do not go there without their permission. Okay? That's that. And then in terms of dressing and infection control, I know care workers look lovely in their uniforms and stuff like that, and most care workers often wear uniforms. I don't think I've seen a care worker who goes to a service user's home in mufti. However, if it's residential, some care workers have they wear their own clothes. I have worked in residential care before, and I wear my own clothes. But if you're going to a service user's home, most oftentimes care workers have a uniform on and you have an ID card. So please, you having a uniform on is mainly for being appropriate, looking smart, and for infection control purposes, because you don't want to wear your own clothes to your service user's home and then you wear that same outfit into your car, you drive home, or you drive to other people's home. So it's more or less like it's protecting you and also protecting the service user as well. So always dress smartly, wear a uniform if you've been given a uniform. Don't go and be wearing exposing or some shady outfit. Don't be doing that. Number two, your personal hygiene must be satisfactory. Don't say because you're going to give care, you've not ironed your uniform, you look unkept, you look untata, you have beard, or you have unkept hair, or you have long dirty nails. No, make yourself presentable, because you are a valuable person in the community, in the society. So make yourself presentable. Number three, if you're going to give personal care to service users, your aprons and your glove is a must. It's not because you don't want to smell funny, or because, no, even as much as you're protecting yourself, you're also protecting the service user, and you're also protecting that part of their body which you're going to be giving personal care to. So that's that in terms of dressing and infection control. And number three thing that is most importantly that you should carry with you is your identification card. So if you're going to a service user's home, even though they're expecting you, you still need to take your ID card with you, because let me tell you, a service user has every right and all the right to refuse you entry into their home if you don't show their ID card. And like I said, I've done work in the community before, I've been to service users care home before, and I always have my ID with me. It's either it's around my neck or it's in my handbag. So as I'm approaching their door, I have my ID card waiting for me. So if you don't show that, even if you go there every day or you go there 20 times a day, show your ID card, okay? It keeps you safe and also keeps your service user safe, so they know who they are letting into their home. And like I said, the service user can decide not to open their door to let you in, so be told, okay? See, if you do all these things, if you abide by these things I'm telling you, you avoid going to jail. You avoid going to jail, because you don't want to, when we are praying that, you don't want to walk into problem. These are kind of the prayers you need to be praying, okay? And then one big thing is confidentiality. You cannot be discussing a service user details or health problems with somebody else you know. No, you cannot be doing that, because if you're doing that, that is you breaching confidentiality. And if you're going to have to discuss with somebody else, it has to be somebody that is included in their care plan. It has to be somebody who knows this service user for you to discuss anything you require for them. Any other person that is not known to the to the service user, or is not known to the organization caring for that service user, please do not share or discuss your service users details or health conditions with anybody. And then in terms of equal opportunities, as a care worker, you want to treat everybody equally. You can't say because this person is agege, I don't want to go care for them. For the fact that you are a care worker, you are going to look after everybody. Either they are Muslims or they are Christians or they are agege or they are Arosa or they are or Father Source. You have to treat them equally. I know there's this thing about some African people not liking Asian people. I've read about that and I've seen people discuss it, but you cannot discriminate against any service user regardless of their race, ethnicity, their religion, their marital status. You cannot disregard. Like, you have to treat them equally. The care that you're going to give to somebody who has no physical disabilities is the same care and compassion you have to give to whoever has multiple comorbidities. So that's that when it comes to equal opportunities. And then timekeeping is important, because I know you African people, you're always with African time. No, if you are a care worker in the community or in the workplace, if you're 8 o'clock, if you're meant to start at 8 o'clock, start at, in fact, if you can start at 7:55, start at 7:55. Don't say because you are going to service users home, they won't know what time you come there. One day is for the thief, one day is for the owner, because the day for the owner will surely come and you will get caught. So if you are meant to go to a service user's home and spend 45 minutes there, please arrive on time and spend the time you've been quoted for and spend that 45 minutes there. Don't say because nobody is watching you and you get there late and you leave 15 minutes before. No. And there is no African time. All right. And then something else is this: you cannot like avoid collecting or accepting gifts from the person you are giving care to, your service user. So you might have been looking after them for years, and then maybe decide that, oh, can you have this gold, or can you have this phone, and I want to give you this. No, you cannot accept any gift whatsoever, no matter how small or how big it is. Please do not accept it. If they insist that they want to gift you, let your manager know. Let whoever is in charge of the rota or the shift you're going to do in a service user's home or at workplace, let them know. Peradventure, or perhaps tell them to send it to your workplace, so that if they receive that gift at your workplace, the workplace will examine it and see if it's within reasonable amount of gift that you can accept. In fact, you know what, for you not to land in trouble, don't accept any gifts. Okay, I know those of you working in care homes, that might not happen. It could be families that could bring that in, but that is family bringing in. Obviously, maybe they've seen you looking after their family and they're quite happy that you're looking after them. So if you are in a care home, that is visible, everybody can see. But for those of you who give care to service users in their personal homes, please do not, I say, do not accept any gift from a service user, no matter how small it is. Even if it is a pencil or is it an eraser, rubber eraser, do not accept it. And like I said, if they insist on giving you a gift, please let your manager, let your line manager, whatever it is that you contact, if anything happens, let them know before you accept anything. And then in terms of property wise, obviously I've watched some American films whereby a care worker was looking after this elderly person, and this person willed its entire will to this care worker. My sisters and brothers, you don't want to find yourself in such situation. If the service user is discussing about executing that will, please find every means to not be a part of it, or don't go and be giving advice that, oh, include your child, include lagbaja and lagbaja, include so, include me. See, find every means and every way to not be a part of that conversation. And if you think that this service user keeps talking to you about implementing their will, I will advise you speak to your manager and say, no, this is what I've observed, this is what I've observed. I've tried so hard to not be a part of this conversation, but it keeps coming. Maybe for a while or for a short period, you might be assigned to go somewhere else. But please, do not be a part, do not have an opinion on who this service user has on their will or how their will is being drawn. Please be warned though. Same thing is to, don't think, okay, because my service user is this, that I want to quickly borrow their car to go and do this. Do not do that. If you have to go and get maybe shopping or whatever for your service user, don't say because you can drive, you want to borrow their car to go and do shopping. No. There are some care at homes that if you drive, your company will give you a car to do all of that. But if you don't drive, I say, oh, let me quickly borrow my service user's car to go and do the shopping for them. Do not do that. Do not take money from them. Do not take electronics from them. Do not borrow anything. Do not borrow anything. If possible, don't use their toilet when you go to their house. Whatever whatever number 1 or number 2 that you want to do, hold it till you get home, or hold it till you see a public toilet or whatever that you can use. Do not get involved in stuff like that. Okay? Now little with the tell. I hope as I'm telling you guys, is going in there and is staying in there and not coming out from here. Something else that you want to avoid and not do. Do not steal medication from a service user. Maybe you have your own on your body, or you have pains and you're like, this Oramorph will help me, or this Tramadol will help me, or this Oxycodone will help me because I can't get it anyways, and you decided to start stealing from your service user. If you steal, you will get caught because they will find out. So avoid stealing from your service user, especially in terms of medications. Do not be tempted to fall into such. Okay? And then the couple of things I also want to discuss is about financial matters. When I'm talking about financial matters, like I said, it's mainly involved, or it goes hand in hand with properties. Do not be a part of a service user's money. Do not take money from a service user to say, or maybe service user says, I want to buy this, can you go get it for me, and they give you money. Please do not, because whatever it is that service user will need, it will have been planned. There are people that have been put in place for such things to be provided. If a service user needs a new bed, if they need a new bedding, if they need a new TV, if they need a new fan, they need any kitchen appliances, there are people who have been placed in such areas to make sure those things are available for them. If peradventure you are in their you are in their house and you need to use something and it's not available, you can put this in your report to say, okay, you wanted to make a toast for your service user, but their toaster is not working, and I would recommend or suggest that a new toaster be bought. You can put that in your notes, and then once you are leaving your care users or your service users home, let your manager or the boss who you will report to know that, by the way, the service users house that I went to, their toaster is no longer working. Could you please ensure that a new one is bought? But don't be saying, my service user has given me money, I want to go and buy toaster. No, because there are people who have been placed in positions to make sure those things are made available for them. Don't go and be collecting money and go and start doing I am nice, I am Mr. Nice, or I am Mrs. Nice. No, do not do that. Instead, put it in your report and pass it on to your boss. The next thing I want to talk about again that you should avoid as a care worker in the UK, or else you will end up in jail. Avoid personal relationships. Yes, avoid personal relationships. You can maintain your professional relationship when you are with your patient. You can maintain your professional relationship by ensuring maybe communicate with them respectfully, and if you think that conversation is leading to something that shouldn't be, refrain back and put a stop to that conversation straight away. Avoid any kind of learn how to set boundaries. And if you set your boundaries from the beginning, you will ensure, your service user will know, regardless of their what will I say, regardless of how they're able to reason and stuff, maintain that boundary from the beginning. Like I said, avoid any emotional or any physical familiarity. No, if they're asking you about your family, try and diverse that conversation to go into about themselves. Let them tell you about themselves rather than you doing the other way around. Because if it's from when you start going into all of these details, that's where you are starting to build familiarity with them. From there, your relationship will start. The quickest thing that will land you in jail is having sexual relationship, or familiarity, or too much familiarity with a service user. That's the quickest thing that will land you in jail, because at the end of the day, it is the word of the service user against yours. I warn you, I tell you my own. And the last but not the least is off-duty behavior. Off-duty means when you are not providing care for your service user, or you're on your day off and you meet you meet another colleague at a coffee shop, and then you start discussing. Please avoid doing that, because in the run-up of you discussing that care user or service user as details with another colleague in the coffee shop, somebody else might hear about the person you are talking about, and maybe they happen to know the person. It could lead to them going to rob that service user. It could lead to them doing so many things whereby you wouldn't have known that somebody else was listening to your conversation. And again, if you are actually going to do that, that is still you breaching the service user's confidentiality. You have to maintain privacy when it comes to all of these things. So these are the things that, as a care worker in the UK, either in a care home or you are going to the service user's home, you need to abide at. Do not do this thing, because if you do this thing, you will end up in jail. And if God help you after jail you remain in the UK. But in some cases I've seen, after jail they find themselves in Africa. You don't want all of your hard-earned money, all of your endeavors of being in the UK, you don't want it to end up just because of the things that you could have easily avoided, but because greed, or because, oh, if I do it nobody will catch me, you decide to do it, and then they nab you. Nowadays there are some things that families put in their family's home. There are some picture frames that you can install cameras in this, just like that video I shared previously. It was a family that placed a picture in their grandparents' room, and it was that camera in the picture that captured how that grandmother was being abused. So you know what, people want to succeed in any profession you find yourself, but if there are ways to ensure that you don't land in trouble, I will be the first person to bring it here to you. And like I said, I've decided I'm going to be sharing these things with you. So I hope all of these things I mentioned make sense. And if it makes sense, drop them in the comment section. And if I care what kind in the UK, if you don't mind, feel free to share how you ensure you stay safe at work. Because like I said, it's the service user's word against yours. And this comes to the end of my video. If all of these things I've mentioned make sense to you, say yes by commenting, subscribe, turn on the post notification, subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Alright, bye.